Welcome to the National Soccer Coaches Association of America Club Standards Project. My name is David Newberry and I'm the coordinator of the NSCAA Club Standards Project, an initiative designed to raise the performance of coaches and players one club at a time. Since May 2012, we have had over now 470 clubs join the project, representing approximately 320,000 players and 30,000 coaches. The participation is now more affordable, and for just $500, a youth program can receive an intermediate evaluation that includes a review of current performance, a comparison against best practices in player development, coaching, and administration, scores for the 20 most common performance variables of successful clubs. In just 4 weeks, your organization could receive a report and recommendations to take your program to the next level. If you're interested, please contact me and we'll assign a consultant to the process immediately. Today I'm delighted we have Scott Lieber, the founder and CEO of iSoccer, to present today's topic, which is called Using Game Mechanics and Motivational Psychology to Ignite Skill Development. Scott is the ideal individual to present today's topic. He is the founder of iSoccer in 2008, and he had a single question in mind. Could you create a universal system that motivates players of all levels to train harder and to increase their technical ability? And since 2010, since they launched, they've had over 1,175,000 scores logged. Scott has spent over 4 years building that platform that integrates soccer, technology, and motivational psychology to push the player development to the next level. He's a graduate from Stanford University with a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering, and he was also an Arizona State Player of the Year in 1997, breaking the single-season goal-scoring record. He was then drafted to the Columbus Crew after college. He was a member of the Long Island Rough Riders when he won the national championship in 2002, and he founded a training company on Long Island in 2002, which grew to over 5,000 youth players attending his programs over the course of a week. He sold that company in 2007. Welcome, Scott, to the presentation, and look forward to what you've got to say.
Well, first off, thank you, Dave, and thank you to everybody out there, and we're going to jump right in. Let me make sure I have control here. Click on this. Please hold on 1 second. So I know the webinars are always a funny situation because you can't see anybody's in person, so I can't read the faces of everybody out there listening. So hopefully everybody enjoys, and we're going to jump right in. So today I want to focus on one question, and that question being, let me make sure I have control here. There it is. Can you make technical development fun for your players so they want to improve? You know, soccer is such an amazing game. I mean, it's a very complex game. I mean, you have tactics, mental, all those things. But, you know, I'm a very firm believer in iSoccer, and what we've tried to create over here is that if players are comfortable with the ball, and if we can find a way for them to fall in love with the ball and just love being able to around the ball, then a lot of the player development, you know, down the road is going to be so much easier because they're going to just have that comfort with the ball. And so, really, I'm going to start with this question, and I'll just say it one more time. Can you make technical development fun for your players so they want to improve? That's what we're going to kind of key the entire presentation around. Instead of jumping around, we're always going to kind of come back to this central question. The skill development equation, since we're talking about game mechanics and motivational psychology, and we really key into skill development, here's a quick equation that we use internally at iSoccer. It's the number of touches times the efficiency of touches equals mastery. And so really, it's very simple. How much time does a kid spend with the ball, and then what are they doing with that time? There's another part of the equation, mastery times match conditions, that we think is more execution. You know, it's one thing to be able to do scissors in your backyard or at practice, but can you do it in the game at the right time, at the right moment, in the right instance? And so that's what we call execution. So, but for the sake of this conversation, the sake of what iSoccer and what really we focus on as an organization and as a mission, it is the mastery part. Can we improve the number of touches and the time spent with the ball to raise the mastery is what the goal is today. So increased touches and efficiency. So what we have here is we have can we take what we see on the left as players, dribbling around in a box, which, a lot of teams and players do it around the country. How can we take that where maybe they're spending time with the ball, but maybe they're not, their head's not in it, or maybe they're not being the most efficient? How do we take that to the right? And I know this player's about to get ready, but the look of intensity is like, can we make that time with the ball more efficient? Can we make every touch, almost pushing it to their level, not just, inside, outside, inside, but really pushing it to the level? And another way to raise the equation is, how do we get kids at home? Here we have three kids playing on video games, which are very excited here and watching very intently, to actually practicing at home. Quick story on this little girl that is painting a soccer field in her backyard. She was a player of she's a recreational player, a 9-year-old, that the parent ended up writing iSoccer an email saying, after they did the test and, kind of went through the program, she actually painted a soccer field in her backyard and started practicing every day on her own. And it was because of the things that we're going to talk about right now, about how we've leveraged the game mechanics and the motivational psychology to excite a player of a 9-year-old recreational player in the middle of California. So that's the goal, is to increase touches and increase efficiency. So also what I would like to do is actually just kind of quickly define game mechanics and motivation. So game mechanics, a process that allows for people to have fun and for people to have a fun and engaging experience, from Wikipedia. And motivation, the arousal in an organism to take action toward a desired goal. So the two words I want to key into here on game mechanics is the process. It's actually, if I kind of close my eyes, like a process. That means it can be built. That means there's a system there. That means actually you can create something, to create game mechanics. So it's not just something that happens randomly. It's a process. So we can actually, intelligently design a system that actually can engage and allow people to have fun. And then motivation, the two words I want to key into is take action. We want kids to take action. So to come back to the original point of, where we started, and the core question that we started with is, can you make technical development fun for your players so that they want to improve? So tying that back into game mechanics, can we make it fun? And then tying it to motivation, can we get them to want to? So that's where these two kind of come together, is that can we excite players to want to take the level? So let's jump into the core characteristics of a game. So when you think of a game, any type of game, a soccer game, any type of game, there's a very clear outcome. And here we have the women winning the World Cup, and they're celebrating. And then here we have a couple years before that, same women's national team losing. And so, but in a game, there's a very clear outcome. There's scores, there's time, there's rules, there's wins. There's no ambiguity in the outcome of a game. And you can think of any game out there that anytime you're playing, there's a winner, there's a loser, or there's a tie, and there's certain constraints and restrictions, scores, times, rules, inbounds, out of bounds. There's stuff that go into a game that make it very clear that everybody that's either participating or watching knows what's going on and understands where they stand immediately in the game. Another core characteristic of the game is competition. And there's a couple different ways for competition. There's self. So here's an image of Sudoku. They're not playing against anybody other than themselves. There's no, I guess there are online forums right now out there in the on the web. But for all intents and purposes, they're playing against themselves. And that really is, can I accomplish this and go to the next level? Another one is Monopoly. That's when you're playing on your own, but you're playing against other players. So that's competitive. And then the last one is team. Obviously, in soccer, we're more of a team setting. But when you think of a game, you can compete against yourself, you can compete as an individual against others, or you can compete as a unit to play against others. So those are the core real characteristics of a game that build that make it competition. So then let's switch gears to motivation. There's a lot of different characteristics in psychology around motivation, but the number one, according to a couple well-noted psychologists, is individual achievement. Is that when individuals are able to achieve, they're able to have earned success, ownership, and a sense of pride. And that's really when the key thing here is that there's no ambiguity and there's no subjectiveness. Is that this individual who's at the top of the mountain, like, he knows exactly where he is. There's no, he earned it. There's ownership, and he's very excited that he's up there. So let me jump into recognition. This is the second thing of motivation that's very powerful. And this is Michael Phelps, earning a gold medal. Obviously, he would, if he won the Olympics and he earned the medal, but no one was around, it's pretty special that there's someone there to actually recognize him for his efforts. And there's different forms of recognition. They can be in private, a high five or a little word to a player. They can be in front of others, or it could be a leaderboard. And I think we would probably say the Olympics is more of a leaderboard stance where they're up there and they're being recognized in front of everybody. So what I want to do here is that, and I know I'm going to talk about iSoccer a little bit, and I'm not trying to do a hard sell on iSoccer. It's more just what we do as an organization to try and get the game mechanics and the motivational psychology out of it. So over on the left, we have the clear outcome. We have individual and team competition. We have individual achievement and specific recognition. So what we've done in iSoccer is that we've tried to create a game out of technical development. As you can see here, we're testing. This is actually at the an ID2 event in Phoenix, Arizona. We're testing players. So what we've done with technical technique is that we've added time, rules, and levels. And so what that has done is it's one, as a clear outcome, right when the player is done with that exercise or that assessment, they know exactly what they got. According to, over here on the right, we have the 10 different levels. They know exactly where they're at in terms of competition. Because they know where they're at and that there's no ambiguity around it, it's very specific, they're able to either raise their individual level so they can compete against themselves, like, for example, as Sudoku, or they can also compete against their teammates, and that's very healthy competition. As long as we're not evaluating as starting players based on hey, if you didn't do it, it's more healthy competition where, hey, the team average is 75 and we need everybody to get to 80, or there's ways to create competition around individual and individual technique. Then there's also individual achievement. Right now in technical development, there's a lot of, hey, well, let's back up. How do you right now encourage individual achievement in technical development? Well, maybe they do something in the game. Maybe they pull the scissors off in a game. Maybe they control the ball really well. But if you really think about it, it's pretty subjective for a player's perspective on when they're really improving or when they're not improving on their technical ability. What we've tried to do is make individual achievement, which is core to motivation, a key concept around iSoccer. So even if a player, for example, starts at level white down here at score 30, if they go to score 40 and they earn the next level, they have individually achieved something, and there's no ambiguity around it. And I think that's one of the key things is that we've taken the subjectiveness out of it, and because we've taken that subjectiveness out of technical ability, you can create a system where at the end of the day, we've turned technical development into a game. The player, and so just to kind of reiterate that, a player knows exactly where they're at. There's a very clear outcome on what they did. The individual and team, you've now created a forum of competition, healthy competition, not only on an individual level and a team level, because players are on the same measuring stick. Players are able to work their way up the levels, very similar to a karate system, so they know exactly what they need to do. So for example, if a kid can juggle 3, you're not asking him to juggle 20. Maybe the next level is 5. So it's very much in tune and in reach of what they can do. It's a stretch. There's no unrealistic goal. It's a stretch goal, but they can get to it. And then specific recognition. As a coach, it's sometimes hard to recognize individual technical development. It's easier as a coach to recognize team winning, team losing, Johnny scoring a goal, Sally scoring a goal, a good save, a good tackle. But around technical development, it's really hard to kind of key into something that's very specific where the kid's like, oh, I get it. I scored on this in October, I worked hard for a month, and then I scored on this in November, and I improved, and my coach is able to recognize me. So this is what we've done, and just to give you a little bit of an idea around the feedback that we're getting, to give a kind of a diverse, kind of testimonials. this is Dan Ferguson up in Bozeman, Montana. Their club rolled out, the game mechanics and the idea of what we're doing. And his quote is, instead of sitting on the couch playing Xbox, my players were in the backyard trying to level up. And he rolled it out from 10-year-olds up to 18-year-olds. Here's Evan, a player that was, average player on a team that was state competitive. iSoccer showed me what I needed to work on. Now I've got a shot at playing college. And then here's the girl that was painting in the backyard. And to quote her father, my daughter never used to practice at home. After she started playing iSoccer, she actually created a soccer field in her backyard and spray paint, and with spray paint to help her practice. So again, I'm not trying to do a hard sell on what we do on iSoccer, but the core of what we do between technical development is what I'm trying to sell here. So, in these three testimonials, or these three, different sayings, what we've done here is, the first one is that we've increased time. Instead of sitting on the couch playing Xbox, my parents were out trying to level up. We've increased time with the ball. The second testimonial goes to the efficiency with it. He knew what he needed to work on, as opposed to just saying, hey, just go home and kick the ball again. So it's like, actually, go home and work on your level. And then the last one, and which is the one that actually excites me the most, is, we found a way to motivate a player that was maybe not even enjoying the process of practice. Didn't really enjoy going to practice and never trained at home. We actually found a way, because of this motivation and this game mechanics, to have a player actually fall more in love with the game. And so actually, out of all these, that's actually my favorite. So, to kind of wrap up here, before we kind of go to the Q&A. So for your club and your team, again, you don't need to use iSoccer, but can you find a way to incorporate clear outcomes in competitions? Gaming mechanics is what we're looking for. How do I make a mundane training fun? Are there drills that I already do that I could create a game out of it? Everybody here, I'm sure everybody listening on this call and this webinar is an experienced coach, a club director involved with soccer. There are so many drills out there that that could take it to the next level by applying clear outcomes and competition. I mean, it's no surprise that when you add some sort of race or you add some sort of scoring system, that the intensity level jumps. So I guess how can you do that around? And I'm gonna strongly advocate for technical development. How can you create a game out of technical development? And then on the flip side of that, after you've created the game, a system of achievement and recognition. Motivational psychology. I mean, it is proven that when individuals, for kids and adults, when they achieve and they know they've achieved, and they've taken ownership over it, that's a very exciting and very motivating factor. So it's like, how will my players know for certain they are getting better? And that's individual achievement. Again, to kind of go back to the team level, it's like, maybe there's a right midfielder that plays a really good game and the team wins, but he didn't score any goals. He knows the team may be improving or the team may be progressing, but how does an individual player know that they're getting better? And then how do I want to recognize players? I mean, the amazing thing about how you can recognize players, you can do that all the way from a pat on the back to a high five to team goals to anything you want. To we have some teams that do Gatorade pizza parties if the team level gets raised up to a high enough level. So there's different ways to recognize players and to really call it out. So I think to kind of close it out here, I kind of want to leave you with the opening question, and now it's kind of turning into a challenge for all of us. I mean, it's what we work on every day here at iSoccer, is that can we make technical development fun for your players so they want to improve? So it's kind of a challenge for everyone on this call, and for us here, even working every day on what we're trying to make better, is that how can we make falling in love with the ball, getting comfortable with the ball, spending time with the ball, just fun for kids. Whether it's structured or unstructured, just any way to do that so that they want to continue improving. Because I think if we're able to solve that or figure out a solution that, or maybe solve is the wrong word, if we're able to make it better, I mean, solving, I don't think we're ever going to be able to solve, but if we're just able to make that better and keep pushing that forward, and kids have more fun and they're spending more time with the ball, then as a team, as a country, as just soccer players, we'll become player development and taking the step to the next level of introducing, some pretty serious tactics and other things is going to be much easier if every player is more comfortable with the ball. So with that said, that's kind of, my challenge to myself and to everyone out here is how can we do that? And hopefully today you've taken away some different things, and I try to make, without getting, too crazy. Try to simplify it as simple as possible. Game mechanics and motivational psychology, clear outcome, and